Hi everyone, welcome back. Today I'm going to talk about MPG of the car, how to improve your MPG, and what are the causes of bad MPG. So everybody knows that has owned the Land Cruiser or Lexus LX has the worst MPG ever. The first and the main cause of it is, worn out spark plugs. Yeah, if you have recently bought your car, check the spark plugs. If those are like worn out, replace it. You don't really need to replace it all the time. I mean, just look at it. If it's good, put it back in. If it's not good, replace it. The other could be lead wires for the older engines, like the spark plug lead wires, or for the newer engines it's the ignition coils. So that can be also a problem. Can probably reduce your MPG. The third one is your clogged air filter. So if your air filter is clogged, your engine is not mixing enough fuel and air together, and it's just burning fuel, and that can really affect your MPG. The fourth one I can think of is a clogged catalytic converter. So if your catalytic converter is clogged and your engine is trying to get rid of the exhaust gases, but the catalytic converter is not letting it go, it can really affect your MPG. That's also one of the reason for bad MPG. The fifth one is worn out engine. Let's say if you buy a car which has 200 horsepower, with the passage of time and usage, it really drops to, it depends how you take care of it. So the older the car gets, the gas guzzler it becomes. So if your car has worn out engine, the best way to check it is to open the oil cap, and if there is a lot of blow by coming out of that oil cap, that means it's a worn out engine. Recently I was trying to buy a Camry car, and to be honest, I checked 6 or 7 Camrys, and all of them had such a bad blow by. I had to walk away from it, but the body was in good shape, so I said, well, I'm not gonna just pay money for the body, the engine is bad. The sixth one could be O2 sensor. If your O2 sensor is malfunctioning, it can also add to your bad MPG. So I'm not saying that just go ahead and replace everything. The list I'm going through is like, I'm not telling you guys to go and replace everything, because these parts are pretty expensive and pretty time consuming to replace it by yourself or take it to a mechanic, which is gonna cost you a lot of money. So I'm just giving you guys an idea. The seventh one I can think of is EGR. EGR could also cause a bad MPG, but it's not too much for the petrol cars, or I mean for the gasoline cars. EGR for a diesel car, yeah, the soot can really clog it, and it can really have a huge impact on your MPG. So keep an eye on your car. If your car has, like, let's say 200 or 300,000 miles, check if the EGR valve is clean. The eighth one is cold weather. So where I live, whenever it gets cold, my MPG drops by 2 gallons. The cause of that is engine needs a lot of time to warm up, and we let the car idle for a long time, and that really is a cause of bad MPG. So the cold weather is also, keep that in mind, it can also be the cause. The ninth one I can think of is you know, heavy lift kits, big tires. People that are living in developed countries don't really need to have these heavy lift kits and, you know, these big tractor tires. It's just more for the looks instead of, you know, for utility usage. Yeah, I will use a heavy lift kit and big tires if I'm living in a third world country where the roads are, you know, not properly developed. But if you are living in Europe, in America, you don't really need that kind of a thing, unless you want to, you know, for the show off, or if you want to go for off-roading, yeah, fine, but then just use that car for off-roading. Don't use it for daily usage. The 10th I can think of is heavy bumpers. You know, people install these heavy bumpers and then rooftop tents. This can also have a huge impact on your MPG when you install heavy bumpers and rooftop tents. You know, the aerodynamics of your car, the air drag on your car gets larger, and it can really have an effect on your MPG. So, you know, whenever I buy a car, I try to keep it as stock as I can, because, you know, I'm not gonna install a master bedroom on the rooftop. I'm not going to have a Ramses kitchen in the back and whatnot. If you guys into overlanding, I would suggest to just, you know, pull a trailer, put all your stuff on a trailer and pull a trailer. So once you are done with your overlanding, come back and unlatch the trailer, and then you can use your car for whatever you want to use it, for local drive or whatever. So I wouldn't recommend, you know, installing these rooftop tents and awnings, and unless you really want it, yeah, that's your choice. The other thing is, you know, if you are driving a manual car, some people try to, you know, rev the engine more before they change the gear. It can really have a huge impact on your MPG. Plus it can also you know, wear out your engine pretty fast. But in America, everybody has automatic cars, and automatic cars usually change the gear they would like to change. So but your foot can also, I mean, if you are accelerating immediately and, you know, removing your foot from the accelerator and keep accelerating immediately, that can also destroy your MPG. One more thing I can think of is, you know, the coolant temperature sensor. So coolant temperature sensor, if it's not sending the right signal to the computer is still thinking that, yeah, the engine is, you know, hot or cold. And most of these newer engines are computer controlled, so the computer, you know, try to decide how much fuel to add and how much fuel to deduct. So you guys also need to look into your coolant temperature sensor. One more thing is coolant thermostat valve. If it's shut, closed or open, it can also have an effect on your MPG. So I'm not telling you guys to go ahead and just you know, replace thing, but I'm just giving you guys hints what to look for if you have very bad MPG. Leaking injectors. What happened to me recently, you know, every morning when I started the car, I used to smell rich fuel, like, you know, unburned fuel. And because these cars have these engine covers, you can't really see what's going on underneath. So upon inspection, I have found you know, a couple of the O-rings on injectors failed, and there was, like, you know, raw fuel flowing on the rail, which could be a very dangerous situation. You know, can catch fire. Especially gasoline engines are very dangerous. Diesel engine not that much, but gasoline. So try to check if your O-rings are fine, uh, injectors are not clogged. Fuel in America is pretty good, so I don't really suspect injectors, because injectors rarely go bad, especially Toyota injectors. The only thing can go bad is the O-rings. And the last thing I would suggest is you guys have a check if you guys have like a leak in a fuel tank, or if your fuel cap gasket is holding up the pressure, because gasoline cars, if you don't close the tank properly, it can also evaporate, which can cause minimal of fuel leakage. But still, fuel is expensive. I think I covered everything, and if you guys can come up with some other ideas, please write in comments and let me know if I'm missing something. And I hope I have covered everything. So you guys have a nice day. Thank you very much for watching. Bye.